Welcome to the Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers on our brand new Bears channel. Just launched 2 weeks ago. Over 900 of you have subscribed. Let's get to 1,000 by the end of the day. If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, go to the link below, chatsports.com/Bears. It'll redirect you to our Bears only channel. We'll have Bears rumors, news, free agency targets, draft coverage, all kinds of Bears videos all off season long, leading you into the 2020 NFL season. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of today. And I'm going to reward you guys today, Bears Rumors Mailbag, answering your questions starting right now. Thanks to everybody who used hashtag Bears, made it easier on us to find all of your questions from last week's videos, answered some from our main Chat Sports YouTube channel video and our Bears only channel as well. Let's get it started with Chris Ayers using that hashtag Bears. Will the Bears execute the fifth-year option on Trubisky? If so, what's the number? How much is it? Here's the situation, guys. GM Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy have been clear. Mitch Trubisky will enter 2020 as the starting quarterback. That's what they say, at least. Obviously, that could change. We'll see what happens this offseason. But they have until May 4th to make the ultimate decision on committing to him past 2020 and for 2021, and then potentially beyond if they decided to give him an extension. The fifth-year option would cost about $24 million. And I know a lot of you are saying, oh my God, $24 million for Mitch Trubisky? Well, all the good quarterbacks make over $30 million, the elite quarterbacks, I should say. So by then, 2 seasons from now, $24 million for a starting quarterback really won't be that much. I think they will exercise the option on Trubisky. If you're sold on him, if you've decided he's your starter for 2020 and you got to make that decision before the season, I think you're going to exercise that fifth-year option for the number 2 pick from a couple of years ago. Needs to improve, obviously, but I think that will happen. Also wanted to tie this question in from Caden. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last name. Let me know how to pronounce it. Grzmakowski, I don't know. Hashtag Bears, do you think that Trubisky is the quarterback of the future? Kind of on the same talking point there. Well, you got to improve from these numbers from last season if you're Mitchell Trubisky. 63%, just over 3,100 yards, did miss some time with injury, dealing with that left collarbone problem, 17 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I thought he did some good things down the stretch, the latter part of the season, but it's all about consistency for Mitch. We've seen the flashes throughout the last couple of seasons from Trubisky, but the good quarterbacks, the guys who get second contracts, they are consistent week in and week out. We have not seen that from Trubisky the past season and a half or so. Very up and down. I like good Trubisky. Good Trubisky's an electric, fun player to watch, a guy who's mobile and can make good throws on the run. 2020 is all about consistency. We'll see if the Bears pick up that fifth-year option. I'm leaning yes. I think they will. There's not a huge downside to doing it. If it doesn't work out, you move on after 2021. But I would expect Chicago to exercise that option. What do you guys think? Should the Bears pick up Trubisky's fifth-year option? Type Y for yes, type in for no. If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, you might get hit with an ad break here, so go down to the pinned comment. This is what it'll be. Answer this question. And if you're watching on our Bears Only channel, or if you want to watch ad-free, go check out our Bears Only channel at chatsports.com/Bears. This video's already up over there. Okay, next question here from Paul Gross. The Laser signing, of course, Bill Lazor, the new offensive coordinator, tells me that Nagy will be calling the plays. Yes, he is going to be the play caller in 2020. I like Alex Smith, then Dalton for potential QB signings. Probably wouldn't pay the $17 million for Dalton. Of course, Cincinnati might cut him for a zero dead cap hit. They're going to try and trade him first. They have to sign or draft a tight end in the second round. My question, it's a lot before your question, do you let Floyd go? And what about Clinton Dix? Hashtag Bears. Well, a lot to unpack there. My quick thoughts on the quarterbacks is I think the Bears will look at a veteran quarterback in free agency. I'm with you. I don't think you trade for Andy Dalton in that $17 million if he becomes available. If they decide to cut him, I think he's certainly an option. We'll see what Alex Smith's injury situation is in the coming next couple of months. But to save some money in free agency, here are some guys that you can cut. Leonard Floyd, $13.2 million. I think this is a no-brainer. Zero dead cap. Just did not make the necessary improvements this year. I think he's absolutely going to get cut. Prince Amukamara, he's making $10 million next season. Only $1 million dead cap hit. I think he's a very most likely cut candidate as well. He's not what he once was. Still a decent NFL corner, but you don't pay decent NFL corners $10 million. Then Taylor Gabriel, a decent slot receiver, but a guy who just hasn't been that productive since joining Chicago. He's set to make $6.5 million. You can save $4.5 of that by cutting him. You can save over $26 million by cutting all three of these guys, which would bring the Bears cap situation to over $45 million in cap space, which could be very, very valuable. And then on Clinton Dix, he's a free agency, only made a few million bucks last year. I would like to bring him back for the right price. Was pretty productive, 78 tackles, couple of picks, 5 pass breakups, did have a touchdown as well. But I think you only pay elite safeties top-end dollar. Clinton Dix is not that. I would set the line at about $5 million. If you can get him for that or less, bring him back. If not, I would look to the draft. I would look elsewhere in free agency. You just paid Eddie Jackson a lot of money as one of your safety spots. Don't want to pay top dollar for both safety spots. What do you guys think? What should Chicago do with Type R for re-sign him. Type L for let him go. I think that I would re-sign him for the right price. Again, no more than $5 million. Otherwise, I am letting him go. Okay, next question here. Christopher Goalies asks, #Bears, realistically, how does our cap look and which free agents will be kept? Well, here's the cap breakdown for the Chicago Bears, then we'll talk about free agency a little bit. Bears roughly have $21 million right now, but as I just mentioned, a lot of guys you can cut to save a lot more money. Leonard Floyd, I think no-brainer going to get cut. Prince Amukamara, both those guys get you over $22 million extra in cap space. Taylor Gabriel's another guy. There's a couple of other players on this roster that could save you a couple million here, a couple million there. So you could get to roughly $50 million in cap space. As far as free agency goes, the Bears don't really have a lot of big-name free agents. I will say this. I want to bring back Nick Kwiatkowski. He had a really nice season last year at the linebacker position. He was a nice find for Chicago. He's not going to cost you a ton, especially you're going to lose Leonard Floyd, like I said, most likely by cutting him. Need an extra linebacker there. I think Kwiatkowski helps in that regard. Really, really nice season from him this past season. I think he can have a bigger role on this team moving forward, but not a lot of big-name free agents on this roster. I would be looking to bring in other free agents like a Brandon Scherf. If you need some offensive line help, if you create extra cap space, you could afford him. So there are plenty of free agents targets that we'll get to on our Bears channel in the coming weeks and months, chatsports.com/Bears. But I'll ask you right now, who do you want the Bears to sign in free agency? A lot of free agents out there. If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, we've got our top 25 free agents video on the channel. Go check that out. Tom and Mitch broke that down for you guys, top 25 free agents, but there's a ton of them out there. You can sign anyone in free agency. Price is not a factor. Who do you want the Bears to sign this offseason? Next question here from Funk Bringer, #Bears. Patterson, Cordarrelle Patterson, he's talking about here, is the most underrated player on our roster, in my opinion. The flashes of greatness we have seen the few times Nagy put him in the regular offense has been outstanding. Do you think the Bears should implement Patterson into the regular offense? Well, let's take a look at kind of what he did last year. 83 receiving yards, 103 rush yards, yards per touch on offense at over 6.5. His kick return average is really why he is stuck in the league, almost 30 yards a return, which is pretty good in 2020 considering the kick return has almost been taken completely out of the game with how good these kickers are and moving the ball up to the 35 a few years back. I would like to see him get more touches. He's also another cut candidate. You can save, I think, about $3.5 million by cutting Cordarrelle Patterson. If you're only going to use him for, I don't know, 25 or 30 offensive touches in a season, I don't know if he's worth over $4 million, but I do like Cordarrelle Patterson. I think he can. He's kind of one of those niche players that can do some things if you give him the ball in the right spots. We just didn't see a lot of it this past year, but I'm with you. The few times we did see him, he was pretty effective. Ask you guys this question. Who's the Bears' most underrated player? Patterson's certainly a good candidate. I actually think, I don't know if he qualifies, but David Montgomery, I think he should be used a lot more. I think he's got top 10 running back in the NFL potential. He's a really good receiver. He's a physical runner. Led college football in broken tackles his last 2 years at Iowa State. I think you improve this offensive line and get him more carries, he will be very, very effective. Let me know who you think the Bears' most underrated player is. Next question here, Jacob Cutler, no picture. Is that you smoking, Jay? I don't know. People are talking. I think Jay Cutler's watching these videos. Why wouldn't he be, of course? Hashtag Bears, hashtag Bears. He does hashtag Bears 4 times, so he's very enthusiastic. So maybe it's not Jay Cutler. Was trading Jordan Howard a mistake? I mean, no, he just doesn't fit in Matt Nagy's offense. And by the way, he didn't fit in Doug Peterson's offense either. We saw what he did this year, just over 500 yards rushing. Did have 6 touchdowns. I do miss his goal line impact. He's really good at getting into the end zone inside the 5. But I will say this, I thought they traded low, 6th-round pick, but running backs just don't get you that much these days, guys. That's just the reality of the NFL. You see the slow decline there. I just think he doesn't fit modern offenses. He's not a receiver out of the backfield. He's a good straight-line runner, but unless you're playing in Tennessee, there's not really many offenses built like that these days. I think David Montgomery is a much better all-around back than Jordan Howard. Really good receiver, like I said, physical runner. I think he's more than capable. Tariq Cohen's a good niche back as well. I have no regrets on the Bears trading Jordan Howard. I would have liked to get a little bit more in return, but clearly they wanted to build around running backs who could catch the ball out of the backfield as well, which is what Montgomery and Tariq Cohen can do. All right, Darren Robertson here. Hashtag Bears. How are we going to afford to get a strong in-the-box safety and let Eddie Jackson go back to his normal free safety spot? Well, first of all, Eddie Jackson did get that big 4-year extension, so congratulations to him. Certainly well deserved. That's why I don't think you pay a lot for your second safety there. I will say this. Ask my guy Tom Downey, who does our draft coverage here at Chat Sports. Here are his top 5 strong safety prospects. Now, keep this in mind. Our top 2 here, Grant Delpit and McKinney, they're kind of hybrids. They can play free safety or strong safety. You're not going to be in the mix for those 2 guys. They're going to go in round 1 more than likely. Bears don't have a first-round pick. They don't really have the draft capital to trade up into the first round. So those guys are kind of off the board. Antoine Winfield Jr., Brandon Jones, those guys are more in your range of 2nd, 3rd round options. Bears have those 2 second-round picks. You could trade back and maybe get Brandon Jones in the latter part of the 2nd round or early part of the 3rd round. Pick number 43 and pick number 50, which is what Chicago has. That's right in the range for Winfield Jr. right now. He's an early 2nd round type of guy. I think he's a realistic option. If you let HaHa Clinton Dix go, I think Winfield Jr. could be a nice option next to Eddie Jackson.